And we are live. Big up, people. I hope you're good. 12th man's back. We've got some Arsenal talk. It's myself and my good friend Jordan. Jordan back in the house, man. It's been too long, bro. I was like, let's get Jordan on regularly. And then the time flies, and I'm like, wow, it's been weeks.
It does
You good,
fly
bro?
by, man. Well, thank you for getting back on, man. I enjoyed the last chat we had. So no, thank you for inviting me back on the pod. Appreciate it.
No, big up, man. You're all good, yeah? You're busy? Busy in a good way?
Yes, man. Very, very busy, but busy is good. Keeps me out of trouble. And yeah, I'm at my best when I'm busy. So yeah, lots of Arsenal stuff going on as well. So it's all good. All good.
It's mad. We're going to get into it. Make sure you hit like, people. Make sure you hit subscribe. We're on the way to the big 60K. So let's make sure we get there. We're not far off of 52K. So let's make sure we can hit that. I think we're about 150 away, something like that. So let's make sure we can get that over the next couple of days, people. And make sure you're following our sponsors today. We got two. We got OK Jerseys. Make sure you follow them. Make sure you get your kit. First, second, and third kits now out, and international kits available as well. So please make sure you show them some love. Link to them is in the description. And we've got in the live chat Match Bingo. If you've not got Match Bingo already, make sure you are downloading it. People are winning money from it, and the season is well underway. So make sure both of those you are following as part of 12th Man. They've been fantastic sponsors for us. Let's show them some love, people. Jordan, Bombers, breaking news, crazy news. Injury news. We're going to a lot to him unpack. I'm going to ask you about the Leeds game in a little bit later on as well, and the kind of future Anfield game, which is going to be coming up thick and fast. But first of all, there's been some kind of Ornstein news. I'm going to share a couple of bits of news with you and the chat, because Ornstein dropped this kind of bomber literally not too long ago at all this morning in relation to another defensive signing. And it looks as though we are looking at Piero Hincampe. He is the Ecuadorian centre-half. I don't know if I've got that name right or if I've butchered the spelling, but it's the Bayer Leverkusen 23-year-old defender. He has told Bayer Leverkusen his wish to leave. He's prioritised Arsenal above anybody else. There's efforts ongoing to make the fee more realistic, as it is a 60 million euro release clause. Now, people might be understand or kind of confused about why we're looking at another centre-half. And then I looked at Romano this morning as well, who has broken news about Kivior, who I always believe probably wanted to leave and get first-team football, or at least seek first-team football. And it does seem like today that the news has broke that Porto and Kivior, there is a new proposal to Arsenal this week. It's expected to be over 20 million euros, which I think is pathetic, if I'm honest, but we'll come back onto that. There's a loan with an obligation to buy package that's set to be discussed after Arsenal rejected a bid from Porto for Kivior back in July. This could be key for Arsenal to bring in a new centre-back. So the stars are aligning for this to probably be the case, and I imagine this will come to fruition at some point, Jordan. I think when people see Arsenal and centre-back, they just kind of roll their eyes, if I'm honest, because there's been so many over the years that we've bought under Mikel Arteta. But if Kivior, as much as I want him to go, does want first-team football, we can't offer him that, bro, right? So Gabriel and Saliba, we all know, are our centre-half partnership. And as much as I do want Kivior to stay and believe that he'll get games, and Mosquera, who's come in as well alongside that, do you think that Arsenal need another centre-half if they were to get rid of Kivior, or do you think that we could just let Kivior go and use that money elsewhere?
I don't think we need another centre half. I think we are quite stacked, quantity and quality in that particular part of the pitch, Dan. Mosquera, I've seen a few games of him now. He looks like he's going to be a real hot prospect and a real player in a couple of years' time. I don't like the fact that we're using Calafiore as a makeshift left back. He's not a left back; he's a centre back. He can do a job at left back, but I'm never really comfortable with him at left back. I think going forward, he's definitely an asset at left back. I have concerns about him when we haven't got the ball over the course of the season. I think him playing at left back may cost us, but that's another centre back that we've really got in the building. Never mind the fact that you've got the likes of Timber and Ben White, who can play centre back if it really gets peak. So no, I don't think we need another centre back, Dan, if I'm being honest. And it's funny you mentioned the fact that Kivior may be going to Porto or wherever he may go because he wants first team football, which I think is fair and reasonable. I think it's good enough. I think Kivior starts for 10 Premier League clubs. I think half the league he starts in their back four. So I don't think there's anything weird or wrong or bad about him wanting to seek first team football. But then that makes it even more bizarre that this guy's coming in from Bayer Leverkusen, because Does he think he'll be starting for Arsenal? Because he
Well,
won't be. So why would you leave starting at Bayer Leverkusen to come to Arsenal to sit on our bench? Which then leads me to think I'm nervous now, because that makes me think other club future proofing for a departure in the summer next year. And I think of Gabriel. I wonder if the club are concerned or have been kind of unofficially or loosely told Gabriel wants to move next year. I know there were links. Was it this summer or last summer? I think it was
to
this
Saudi.
summer. To
Well,
Saudi.
both really. I mean, obviously he signed his contract in the end, but there was a lot of rumours suggesting last season he was dropped because he wanted Saudi, and this summer there was rumours that he wasn't going to sign and he was going to go Saudi. Now I know he's signed, but you and me both know, Jordan, we're old enough and ugly enough to know that that doesn't mean anything when you sign contracts now in football. You can go at any time, just hold your price. That's basically what it means.
Exactly. So we all love Big Gabby, but I think he was open to a move, and you know I don't want to stereotype a group of people, but I think they get criticized wrongly for this. A lot of the South Americans do seek pastors where financially it benefits them and their families. A lot of South Americans will move to China, will move to Saudi Arabia, will move to the places where they can make the biggest amount of money. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Like, it's a short career, make your money. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not saying that's what's happening here, but I'm just saying that we have seen people from South America come to Europe and then make moves in their prime to places where the finances are massively incentivized. So I just wonder if the club have been told or are concerned that next summer Gabriel might want to go. Maybe the whole point of signing a contract was to ensure that when he does move on, we get maximum transfer fee for him. So other than that, I don't see the logic behind signing this defender. I've been told by a few friends in a couple of WhatsApp groups that I'm in, Dan, this morning, that follow European football a lot more than me. They're saying really good player, weird signing. So they're like, he's a really good player. If you lot get him, that's a good get, but it's odd. Why are you getting this defender? It doesn't make any sense. So on the face of it, there's no reason from me as to why this is happening beyond are we losing somebody next season? And the club are trying to get ahead of themselves. But even if we are, what does that mean for Calafiori? Like I said, what does that mean for Mosquera? I don't understand why we need to strengthen that particular part of the pitch for that amount of money. That's not a little bit of money. That's a chunk of money that we're going to be allocating to a part of the pitch where I think we're relatively stacked.
I must be honest. I agree with what you're saying about maybe it's a little bit of a bizarre one. However, I don't mind it, and I'll tell you why I don't mind it, right? If this is going to happen, we've got Ben White and Timber as our right backs. It looks like we've got Mosquera and Saliba. We've got one up and coming in Mosquera, Saliba, who's ridiculous and close to world class, in my opinion, in that position. You've obviously got Gabriel and Kivior at the moment, and we've got Lewis-Skelly and Calafiori. Where I find it more confusing is not the fact that we're bringing in another centre half if one's going. It's I would rather bring in a proper left back. I don't know that we've got a proper left back club.
Agreed.
I actually don't know that we have. Now, apparently, this Hikape guy starts at left back can play at left back and started his career at left back, but he's become a centre back that's left-sided centre back. I think what we're doing is we're replacing Kivior here. I hope we're not replacing Gabriel long term, but I get what you're saying there. I hope Gabriel now, if he does leave, it will be after his contract and he goes and enjoys a lot of money in Saudi at an older age, but we'll yet to see if that happens. I think Kivior leaving is fair because he wants first team football. And to be fair with you, Jordan, he was brilliant for us in the last third of the season when he had to come in, right? So I've got nothing against Kivior saying, look, love the club, happy to play, but I need to play. Where can I play? And they're saying, you're not going to get ahead of Gabriel. Cool. Okay, I'll go then. I agree with you. I think Calafiori is not a left back. I don't think he is. I think he is a left-sided centre back. But I look at Calafiori and think, some of his attributes are actually better going forward. So is he a left back? I don't really know where he is, Calafiori, if I'm honest. I don't think I've seen enough of him yet. So I get confused about why we've not gone out and out left back. Now, there's only really Nuno Mendes that I would say would be absolute elite level. There's some out there that are top quality, but we've got Lewis-Skelly who's playing left back, who's kind of a box-to-box midfielder long term in my opinion. And we've just spoken about Calafiori's kind of question marks of what his actual position is. So I find another left-sided centre back potentially a little bit odd too. But I just think this is a replacement for Kivior, this one here. Now, I've been told by my WhatsApp groups that this is an upgrade on Kivior because he plays every game for Leverkusen, dirty bastard, looks really good, looks excellent, 23 years old, definitely good enough to be coming in and covering. So it could be a good sign in that respect. But I also appreciate what you're saying in relation to your friends that have said, bit of a strange one, because where's he going to play then? Because Kivior's leaving because he's not getting first team. This guy surely wants first team. Surely you're not going to leave by Leverkusen. You're playing every single game to then come and sit on the bench at the Arsenal. But maybe we're wrong. Maybe maybe Mikel Arteta is looking at Gabriel not long-term future. He's looking at his injuries because we're going to touch on it in a bit.
Well.
But, Saka and Havertz have gone down already. Is Gabriel the next one? Do you know what I'm saying? So maybe it is a signing that we need.
I don't know if I read this or if I heard Arteta say this, but I've read or heard that he said, the goal isn't to have backup, like strong backups for the 11. He said something along the lines of, the goal isn't to have a really strong B team. The goal is to have 2 11s. He wants to have 2 11s. It's not about having someone that can back up said player. It's, I want 2 11s. And the way he's moving, we're not that far off having a strong second 11. Let's try and do it quickly now. If, let's say, you could put Ben White right back, Lewis-Skelly at left back, Calafiori and this new guy coming in, or Mosquera at centre back, right? Let's say this guy, because this guy's coming for a lot of money, so I assume he might jump ahead of Mosquera, but we'll see. So let's say this guy, that's not a bad back four. Without having seen this new guy coming in, admittedly, that's not a bad back four. Kepa, I don't particularly think is a great number one, so that would be my concern there. But as a back four, that probably is good. 2 in midfield. Norgard and who would it be?
Marino, I suppose.
Norgard, Marino, and Nwaneri as a 3.
Yeah.
Madueke on the right, Martinelli on the left, Havertz up top. That's not a bad second. Where does that 11 finish in the Premier League?
Well, I imagine that will be the Carabao Cup and FA Cup sides that start, and I imagine it'll probably fight for a respectable position in the Premier League. I mean, it's not going to get anywhere near sort of
top 8, top 7.
Yeah, I was going to say easily top half, maybe pushing for European places. Yeah, I was going to say that. Yeah.
So if that is the goal, then he's trying to just basically have 2 11s. That's not as good as the first 11, obviously, but it's it's not far off. That 11 probably beats half the league. Do you know what I mean? So maybe that's his thinking.
Well, it is his thinking, I think, because something that's interesting me, not just in pre-season, but certainly at Old Trafford, was the squad depth. And Sunday was definitely that. Or even Saturday, should I say? I'm missing my days up. For me, I'm looking at the scenario thinking, I have been impressed with the fact that I saw Lewis-Skelly and Ben White and Timber and Calafiori all sharing the fullback positions in the first pre-season and the first couple of games. Obviously, you've got Noni Madueke who's come into the mix. We've not even brought Eze into the mix yet. He was brought out and announced. That's another player. Havertz is injured. Jesus is coming back from injury. Trossard was brought on. Didn't see Martinelli, but he played in Old Trafford, So, he's now signed. You've got Marino that didn't really get on the other day. You've got Ethan Nwaneri and Max Dowman that have got into the mix a lot quicker than people suspected. Obviously, Miles Lewis-Skelly. Norgard was injured. He wasn't even on the bench the other day because he's got an injury. This is starting to turn into... Do you know what it is, Jordan? It's starting to turn into no excuses for the manager, if I'm honest with you. And I know people think, there he is going again at the manager. But I'm serious about this now. There's no, he had injuries. He didn't have this. He hasn't really got his strike yet. Not sure about the attack yet. Not sure we got enough in midfield. Defensively, he was out, though. Every department has got cover. Whether you believe that cover is good enough is a different debate. You and I will probably say there's a couple of positions that aren't, right? But these are his players now. He's had about 36 players at the Arsenal in 5-6 years.
So on that, because I've heard of the last week that line, right? We're in the territory of no excuses, right? I.e., if I understand what you mean by that, it's you've got a team now
Trophy or bust.
Should win the league, right? Okay. Who for you? Just quickly run through Arsenal's best 11.
The best 11 for me is David Raya.
Everyone's fit.
Everyone's fit. David Raya, right back, Jurriën Timber. 2 centre-halves, Saliba and Gabriel. For me, it would be Lewis-Skelly just ahead of Calafiori because I'm still questionable, although he's been really good in the last couple of games. That's the position for me that could be upgraded. In the middle, I think Zubimendi, Rice and Odegaard, but I think Zubimendi and Rice play closer together in more of a double pivot as opposed to Rice being this Lampard guy who's clearly not. Then I think you have a front three at the moment with everybody fit. Personally, people might laugh at this, but I think that left wing is so mad at the moment and so bad at the moment that, do you know what? Actually, no, we've got Eze. Let's go Saka, Eze, Gyökeres.
Right. Liverpool's best 11. Who's got the better 11?
Right now, I'd say it was close. If they get Isak and Gehi, we're out of here. We're out of here. Let's be real.
The reason why I asked that question is because everybody keeps saying we're in no excuses territory.
Yeah.
But when you really scratch beneath that statement, I reckon most Arsenal fans would give the same response that you just gave. Actually, we haven't got the best team in the league still.
So let me just come back on that quickly, because I know what you're saying. Let me just come back on that really quickly. So when I say there's no excuses, it doesn't mean you must win the league or you've got to get sacked. Some people say that. Some people say he's got to win the league or he's got to go. I actually disagree with that. And I actually go one more. I don't think he has to win the Champions League or he's got to go. We've never won the Champions League, right? So it'd be incredibly unfair to say, well, we better win the Champions League. We better get out of here. I have said this team is good enough to win a trophy, whether that's an FA Cup, a domestic cup double, whatever you want to call it, a Premier League, a Champions League. This is good enough to win a trophy. If Ten Hag can win a trophy, if Glasner can win a trophy, if Ange can win a trophy, if Maresca can win a trophy, and the list goes on, Eddie Howe, etc., Arteta should be able to with this squad. Now, I will say, if he wins a trophy and he comes fifth, it's not good enough. But if he wins a trophy and he takes Liverpool, let's say, to the last game of the season and he loses out by 1 point or on goal difference, I'm not going to say sack him as long as he's lifting something in May. If it is not a Premier League or a Champions League, there's a lot of fans, Jordan, that want him gone, even if he wins an FA Cup or a Cup double. You know, Turkish said to me, if he wins a Cup double, is that enough? I'm like, well, it would be for me, but some people say no. Do you know what I mean? So that's why I'm saying no excuses to win a trophy. But you're right by saying that it's hard to win this Premier League because Liverpool and City are no muppets. Obviously, Chelsea are coming back into the mix. And you've got Champions League where you've got PSG, Real Madrid, Barcelona on top of what we've already got domestically. So, sorry, I just wanted to make that point clear because I think
that's where I am as well. I just hear a lot of people saying, no excuses. He's got what I'm like, just calm down, right? Because when I say to you, everyone fit who has the best 11, most people would still agree Liverpool have the better 11, especially if Isak and Gehi come in. So there's a lot of bluster and a lot of big statements and hyperbole being thrown around without much actual thoughts behind what are you actually saying. What does that actually mean?
Let's do it quickly then. What do you think? Because I think Alisson is the better goalkeeper, but I do like David Raya. I think they've got right back. I think we actually genuinely do have a better right back than them now. I think Trent would have got it, but Timber for me is ridiculous. I think their left back is obviously Kirkes, and I've got to say I think he's ridiculously good. So I'd probably give it to them. Obviously at the back you've got Van Dijk and Konate. I think as a pairing we're better, but I think Van Dijk's the better out of all of them. So I think that's probably closest we've got there. Obviously in midfield, I'm a big fan of Alexis McAllister. I think he's one of their best players. I think he's ridiculously good. Obviously, Gravenberch, I'm probably picking Rice or Zubimendi just over him, but he's had a brilliant season last season. But you're picking Florian Wirtz all day long over Odegaard. Obviously, you've got Salah, who you're going to pick over Saka, who I absolutely love. On the left, it's probably going to end up being Ekitike and Isak. So as much as I love Gyökeres, Isak probably is going to be the guy that you look at. And then Ekitike is a flip of a coin by whoever left back we bring in, whether it's Eze or whoever. I think Eze's probably just got it. But it's very close, but I think Liverpool maybe. And I think Liverpool have already got more match winners and Liverpool have probably got more winners in their side. Do you know what I mean?
That's the thing. And that's why I'm so happy Dan we've signed Eze, because for the first time in a long time, we've got somebody that can win a match. We've got somebody that I look to in the games where a tie or the games where we're not playing particularly well that could just do something and create a spark in a way that it's not solely it's not solely leaning towards Saka to be the magic man. Saka can't do it all on his own every single time. You've now got two problems potentially on the pitch of people that can just do something, just do a thing. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I think I just think a lot of the fan base just calm down. I know it's an emotional game. I know we've waited a long time for a league title. I know we've got closer and closer and closer, but I just think the hyperbole, let rival fans do the whole, this is the year you got to do it. Let them do all that nonsense, right? As a fan base, let's just be sensible. Let's hold our standards high. I'm not saying we don't have high standards and expectations, but all this, he's got to do X or what? Do you know what I mean? It's like, just relax. We've had
the other thing on top of that, Jordan, right, is when they say he's got to do this, it's the owners that made a decision. The fans can do what they want. Do you know what I'm saying? The owners are going to keep him anywhere.
As long as he gets top four football, he's not getting sacked. The fan base might turn on him, and as you said, some already have. Fine, that's your right. But let's not pretend like he's getting sacked anytime soon. He's not.
I've given up on that, man. I've not trusted Arteta since the COVID. If I'm honest, when we were losing to Burnleys and Leicesters and Evertons and Wolves at home and Villa's getting
He ain't
spanked, I'm
going
thinking
anywhere.
this guy's not good enough. And as soon as I see this summer, where we had the summer we had, and we had the January we had, and we had the season we had, and I saw in the summer the Cronkies were like, yeah, we're keeping him. I'm like, I'm sorry, but I can't be Arteta out if the Cronkies are the ones that aren't doing anything here.
Sorry,
So the ownership of the issue, man. Go on, sorry, go on.
I've just seen rants in the comments, all type rants.
Yeah, big up rants.
Super troll, super troll, bad man troll still. Yeah, I don't. And also, so rants has put 1 billion spent and inherited FA Cup. Arteta got you guys by the balls. This is another myth that really annoys me. He spent £1 billion. I use this analogy on and Rant to be able to relate to this. I used this analogy on Forever about 4 or 5 months ago. To Kurt, actually, it was Curtis was saying the same thing. This whole thing of we spent a lot of money. Do you used to rave back in the day, Dan? Was you a raver back in the day?
I think everybody was, right?
Right. Okay. So like you go to a certain club and then you pay a money to get into the club, right? You got to pay an entry fee to get into the club. Cool, no problem. But if you want to go to the table over the top table with the big boys and the hot gal and the one where it's really popping off, you got to pay an extra money to get on that table, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing with Arsenal. We had to spend a certain amount of money just to get in the dance. To go from 8th to title contending, that's your entry fee money. Now you're in the club, you got to spend a whole bag of money to go to the next level. So when people say, oh, it's £1 billion spent, we were in deficit. We were outside the club. You got to spend a lot of money just to get in the club. Now you're in the club. Oh, I want to get some bottles. Oh, no, I want to sit on that table. Oh, that's a next fee. And it's the same thing with Arsenal. So when people say, oh, we spent a lot of money, they miss the context of we had to spend a lot of money just to get into the mix with Chelsea and City and Liverpool. Now we're in that mix. We have to go again. This year we have to go again to really assert ourselves as the team. So it's really misleading when people say you spent nearly £1 billion because factually that's true, but it misses the context of what you had to do. You got to spend a lot of money just to be in that mix. So I'm not making excuses.
But the thing is, Jordan, as much as I appreciate what you're saying and I agree with a lot of what you say, the reason I'm gonna kind of push back on it a bit is because we got nothing to show on it, bruv. We've spent this £1 billion and we've got nothing to show. Whereas City and Liverpool and all these other clubs, Chelsea and all these guys that you've been saying are spending money, there's only United, and even they've got trophies to show for it. Do you know what I'm saying? With Arsenal, I think Arteta has spent more now than Pep Guardiola since Arteta has joined, right? Not in the whole time at City, because obviously he's been there long. He's been there a decade now, hasn't he? But like since Arteta was joined, I think there's only Manchester United and Chelsea that have spent more money than Arsenal.
But Dan, when Pep Guardiola joined City, they had the nucleus of a team that wasn't a Premier League winning team.
No, I agree.
They had won a Premier League title before he got there. There was the nucleus of a championship team. He had to refine it, tweak it, and improve it, but there was a nucleus of a team that were winners. When Arteta rocked up, bro, we know what it was. We know what it was. We were 8th.
No, we had to spend money. Facts, we had to spend money. Absolutely. I'm just saying that if I'm looking at what has been spent in the time Arteta's been here, forget about the past. I appreciate we have to spend.
There should be some cups in there.
There
I
should
agree.
be some trophy.
I agree with that.
An FA Cup, but when you've come and walked into a mess which was toxic and needed to be broken up, and you've won a trophy with that, and then you spend what has been close to a billion, which people are now saying, I think it's €1 billion as opposed to pounds, but I think it's that, and you think, what have we got to show for that? That's why I'm saying there's no excuses to win a trophy. Do you know what I'm saying? And Rance is right. Maybe the levels and the standards have gone. I think they're in the gutter at Arsenal and have been for quite some time. However, I could do the whole win a trophy and he stays, or win a Premier League, or he's got, or he got to go. I can be like that, and I'm not going to say that people that believe that if he doesn't win a Premier League or a Champions League, he's got to go are deluded, because these guys had a lot of time and patience. A lot. He's very lucky. Very lucky to be in the job.
I don't disagree with that. And I've seen a comment here from Ali Bernard. No, you are misleading. Liverpool didn't spend £1 billion catch-up money to Ras. What people forget about Liverpool is that they had a generational/freak manager. When you have a freak manager can do a lot with a little. There aren't many Klopps around. There aren't many Fergies around. There aren't many Guardiolas around. They had a freak. Arteta's not a freak. He's a very good manager, but he's not a freak. So the reason why they were able to do such good things without spending crazy money was because Klopp was a freak. He's a freak. We all agree that Klopp was a madness. There aren't many Klopps. So these aren't excuses. And I agree with you. There should have been a couple of cups in there, a couple of finals at least. I'm with you. I'm not saying he's done an amazing job. I'm just saying when people say he spent X amount of money, it's just a really lazy statement to throw out there without looking at actually, okay, we still haven't got for me a world-class player. Liverpool have got 4. So what? You think with 4 world-class players in their team, and in my opinion, not one in our team, we're meant to be better than them? What are you talking about? Doesn't make any sense to me.
We come back to this question then, right? Big up to Igal for the raid, by the way. Absolute ledge. Cheers, bro. Much appreciate that.
What's a raid?
A raid means you redirect. So you redirect to your audience to hear. So he sent his audience over to us, man, which is quality.
Oh, okay, love.
So big up for that, Igal. And big up to everyone that's here. We've got 1.3K in the chat. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button, people. Make sure you're checking out our sponsors today. OK Jerseys and Match Bingo. Make sure you're following both of those and you're following Jordan as well. Let's come back to this then, bro. When I say to you, do you think Arsenal can win the league? Is your answer no because the squad's not good enough? Or is it no because the manager can't get us across the line? Because mine's the latter.
I think it's a combination of maybe the two. I think that the squad hasn't, not now, but hasn't been good enough. And as we just discussed earlier on, if you compare both teams' best 11s, there's probably more Liverpool players in an combined 11 than Arsenal players. So even now, there's a debate that Arsenal haven't got the best team in the league, right? So never mind before, where it was undeniable we were the inferior squad, right? But I think there's also something about Arteta. I still believe that this guy can win a Premier League title with Arsenal, but I won't lie and pretend like every year that goes by, my faith does dwindle a little bit more and more. He's running out of time. You can't just have you can't just be a manager with impunity. You can't just have forever to win a title, right? At some point, you've got to deliver. Otherwise, sorry, bro, we've got to try somebody else. I think there's a third element people miss as well, and it's the reason that I think it's the biggest reason we haven't won a title. This club and this team doesn't do well with pressure. We don't do well when dealing with pressure. Now, that might be a Mikel Arteta thing. That could be an Arsenal player thing, or it could be a club thing. As a club, we don't deal well with pressure. And it's why we might get on to chatting about the Liverpool game shortly. Yeah. I'm really fascinated by this game on Sunday with the players that are out, because we don't deal with pressure very, very well. People can call it bottling it. I don't want to get into that kind of like all those kind of buzzwords. But I think the bigger issue for us isn't so much personnel, it's the ability to deal with pressure. We don't deal with pressure when it's really on top, when it really matters, when you have to see out that Aston Villa game 2 years ago and you can't, shit the bed. Sorry, cursing on your stream. We the bed sheets are brown. When it really matters, we can't quite grab it. So I think that is as an equal problem for us.
Mentality stuff.
Mentality as is personnel. Personnel-wise, I think we're pretty much with Liverpool now, right?
I agree.
Where I think we're not near Liverpool is that. I don't think over 38 games, that's my concern. That's my concern.
Yeah, facts, man. Let's do some of these super chats and then we'll go into the injury news leading up to Anfield. User says, Hincapié started his career as a left back. I can see Arteta using him there. He's a quality player. Yeah, listen, don't think that when Arteta signs someone, he brings him in the position he plays. We've seen that before where he completely changes the position of people. He's also, Guna Carlos says he's played 50 league games at left back. He overlaps. We can't praise City for having elite depth and down us for doing that. 4 true centre-backs. Yeah, look, I'm always up for squad depth. When people say to me, oh, where's Eze going to play? Oh, where's Madueke going to play? Oh, that's a lot of money. I wasn't saying that when we signed Reyes, bless him, when we had Pires. And I wasn't saying that when we had Parla, when we had Lundberg and Edu and Gilberto and Vieira and Co. And, Carnu and Wiltord were on the bench for Henry and Bergkamp, Jordan. Do you know what I mean? We had to have squad depth last time we won the league. So that's where I'm at. Big up to you, bro. And we also have AMT who says Liverpool get Isak and Gehi. Arsenal get Rodrigo then. Well, maybe we'll come on to left wing position. That would be an absolute dream for me, but I think it might be a pipe dream. Big Dog say, why can't we get a freak manager? We're a big club. Do you know what? That's a fair point. And at the end of the May, maybe we'll have to. Because
but sorry, so before we go to the next one, but it's not a fair point because that's the whole point of a freak manager. Freaks are rare. There aren't many freaks.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Lewis, someone's put here similar thing. Sorry to cut you there, but
no.
Now get us that freak manager to get us over the line because there's still freak managers out there. Luis Enrique, Hansi Flick. They're not freaks. They're very good managers. Freaks are people that are like
Sir Alex Ferguson.
Yeah. There's not many freaks, bro. That's the whole point of being a freak.
Yeah.
Rare.
No, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. No, I'm with you. Gunnar Shabs also says Martinelli and Jesus need to be sold. Lone Rodrigo incoming. I'm going to get Jordan's opinion on that soon. Big up to you, bro. And this one is a nice segue into what we're going to talk about next. Big Dogs also says, I'm pretty annoyed. Saka's injured like we all expected. It don't look like we're getting a winger. I'm sorry, but Noni ain't good enough to start versus Liverpool. Let's talk a little bit on that because it was announced today by Sami Mokbel that Bukayo Saka is going to be out and it's not cramp. Anybody who watched it live knew it wasn't cramp. In my opinion, I watched it live and went, he's down with a hammy. Then I was told that people said, actually, he whispered that it might be cramp and he might be okay. Apparently, Saka's expected to miss 3 to 4 weeks with a hamstring injury. He's going to miss the Liverpool clash and the England games, which I think is a good thing. Odegaard's shoulder injury is not severe, however. So it sounds like Martin Odegaard could be okay. I don't know if he's going to be okay for Liverpool, but certainly he's okay in comparison to Saka. And Saka missed in a few weeks. Before we go into what that means for Liverpool and what your team selection will be, I'm not surprised by this, Jordan. I've got to be honest. I said, everyone said, no more injuries this season. That was just a freak last season. It's not a freak when you have those severity of hamstring injuries. You have to look after these players, and I felt we rushed Saka back for the Champions League games, and I don't know why he continued to play the Premier League games. I haven't seen the same Bukayo Saka. I'm not going to lie to you. I've seen glimpses of it. I've seen brilliance of it because he's that good a player. But I do think that this is a guy that we do have to wrap up in cotton wool now, and I think that the damage might already be done. That's my biggest fear. I'm fingers crossed that isn't the case, but we might have already ruined this player, and I hope that isn't the case. And, Havertz already down again. And people say, yeah, but it's not the same injury. That's the point. This is what this does. These long-term injuries allow for another injury to be the case, which is why Havertz now got a knee problem. Saka's got his other hamstring that's done. Gabriel Saliba and Timber, I'm all worried about them playing unbelievable amount of games. So this is something we have to now look at. And maybe, just maybe, that's why Mikel Arteta is looking to get 2 11s and rotate a bit more, bruv.
Yeah, that might be the reason. And I'm really interested to see. Obviously, Saka's our best player, right?
Yeah.
And you want your best player playing in the biggest games. There's no bigger game than away at the champions, right? So if I had the choice, I would want Saka in that 11 on Sunday. But here's the thing, and it goes back to my point earlier on about players and pressure. I'm slyly, maybe I'm putting a positive spin on this, Dan, but I'm slyly, I wouldn't say happy, but intrigued to see how Madueke and Eze, who I hope starts, how they get on Sunday. Because whilst I don't rate Madueke like that, I don't rate him particularly highly, there's got to come a time when the players and the ability they have just it's not going to be enough. You need players that have something here that gets you over the line. And I'm not saying Saka doesn't have it, but the reality is that Saka, Rice, Saliba, Raya, a couple of years now, some of these key players have been there and not been able to go over the line 2, 3, 4 times. So I'm looking to see if Madueke, who's an inferior player, whether he can actually have the mentality to overcome a Liverpool team at Anfield and do something that Saka's not been able to do, Rice has not been able to do, Saliba hasn't been able to do, and that's win at Anfield. We've got really good results at the Etihad. We always smash United, and Spurs is light food, but we've never been able to really away beat Liverpool. And I just wonder if now's the time to have some of these newer players come in and maybe show us that ability-wise they may be inferior, but actually mentally they have something to get them over the line on Sunday. So, like I said, I'd rather Saka play off because he's better than Madueke. Facts. But I just think that it's about mentality this year for Arsenal. I don't think it's solely about ability. It's about, do you have the balls? Do you have the mentality to go to Anfield and wrap up the champions on their patch? And I'm really intrigued to see if Madueke can do that. Can Madueke really, can he really bad up on his favourite side? Because I thought he was horrible on the left in the first half. He was horrible. The minute he switched over, he looked quite lively and quite useful. So I'm saying to him on Sunday, you're starting on Sunday, Noni, rip up the fullback, rip him up, give him a hard day, get crosses in, get shots off, really make him work, because who's that there? It's Kirkes. Loves to go forward.
Yeah.
No. Make him go backwards. Make him, he ain't going forward because he's got to deal with you. He's got to defend first. So I'm interested to see if some of these players coming in can they may not elevate the ability, but they may just elevate the mentality.
What would you do then? Because it looks like Havertz, Odegaard and Saka, who all started for us last season, are now not going to be available for Liverpool. I imagine Odegaard might be, but I'd probably just rest him if I'm honest. What would you do? Because you've got the front line there, and I'm interested to know what you do at the back line as well, because this 11 is going to be very, very interesting. I'll give you my 11, but I'm going to ask you first, because let's just imagine that Saka, Odegaard and obviously Havertz are all out. What's your team against Liverpool for you, bro?
Same back four. Would I start Calafiore? Calafiore against, it'll be Salah, won't it?
Mm-hmm.
Calafiore against Salah makes me a bit nervous. Not gonna lie. But equally, do you want Lewis-Skelly vacating that particular part of the pitch because he's coming inside constantly? Does he have the discipline to handle Salah? I'm not sure. I would go left back. Oh man, I'd probably go Lewis-Skelly on this one.
Okay.
I'm really nervous about Calafiore defensively left back. I would go Zubimendi, Rice, and the 10. Who's going central? I would have Eze left, Madueke right, Gyökeres up top. In the 10, I'd probably go Nwaneri, I'd probably go Nwaneri and just say to Nwaneri, just get on the ball. Get on the ball and win free kicks. Make them clip your heels, make them kick you, make them foul you. Get on the half turn and just try and supply. Just try and put through Gyökeres, but make them foul you. That would probably be my 11. Yeah, I'd bring in Nwaneri, Eze, and Lewis-Skelly.
Okay, interesting. My team is as follows. If these players are fit, by the way, because we don't know if these players I'm going to say are 100% fit as well, but I'm hoping they will be. My back line will be different to yours. I go Raya in goal. I go Ben White right back, Timber left back, Gabriel and Saliba. That's what I would do.
Oh, you know what? Sorry, I'm buzzing. I forgot Timber could play left back. Sorry. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. Same midfield as you. And then I'd have Eze on the left. And the reason I'd have Eze on the left ahead of Martinelli and Trossard is because both their right backs are out. And I believe they're probably going to play Joe Gomez there, who hasn't played for God knows how long, right? So I think they have to they need a player that's silky, that's on that guy. And I think Eze could be that guy, man. So I would go with him. Normally, I would say this is perfect for Martinelli, but we both know, you and I, and you definitely know, that Martinelli just isn't with it at the moment, in my opinion. He's just not with it. I don't know what I'm seeing. It's not a player that I recognise from when he was 17, 18, and he's just not developed. And in fact, I'd actually go on further. I think he's got worse. I think he's actually got worse. He doesn't look like he has that fearless intent anymore to me. It looks like he's just a player that's just lost all of his confidence, which is a real shame, because I thought that we were going to have a talent there. And I think you probably agree. When he was 17, 18, we were like, wow.
Loved him.
Which is a shame. So obviously I'd have Gyökeres. Ethan in the 10. Max Downman I would bring on. I wouldn't start him. But yeah, Noni Madueke has to play on the right wing when Saka being out. If Odegaard is fit, no doubt he's going to play him. So what will be interesting for me is who gets the armband, because with Saka and Odegaard out, that is our captain and vice. Are they going to finally give it to Rice or Gabriel, or is it going to go somewhere else?
I think it'll be Gabriel. Yeah, I think Gabriel will get the armband, and I'm okay with that. I just think I'm actually not as downbeat about Sunday as a lot of people are. I know our best players out, our captain's out, but this is the reason why you we started the conversation by chatting about our squad. This is the reason why you build a squad. It's not possible to have two Sakas, right? The person coming in for Saka is always going to be not as good as Saka, right? But as long as the gap and drop off isn't too mad, and it's not a too long a period, I think I'm quite confident. Maybe I'm deluded. Maybe I'm just kind of getting caught up in the noise of the weekend. But I think we're ready to go to Anfield and make a statement. Liverpool have not started well. At the time of recording, we'll see how they get on tonight against Newcastle. But I think
that's going to be a game, innit? That's going to be frosty.
It will be, man. There'll be a lot on that game tonight. The fullbacks like to bomb forward. I know Frimpong's out injured, so as you mentioned, Gomez is going to be playing, which I think in a weird way is a bad thing for us because Gomez won't go forward. he'll be a right back. He'll be a fullback. In a way, I like the fullbacks that get forward because then they're a threat on your goal, but they're easy to catch going when you're attacking. So I'm not. I think we win. I think we win.
Wow.
I do. I think we go there and win. I think we're ready to go there and send out a statement. I think we're ready to go there and let Liverpool know we are on this thing. We are on this thing. I think we've got a team that can go. We've been there in the last 3 years and got draws and played well.
Yeah,
we've played well. There's a couple of those times we've been there. We should have won. Do you know what I mean? So I'm looking for Gyökeres to step up. He's off the mark now with a couple of goals. I think he needs a few more games to get up to fitness completely. But I don't think we should be going there shook. I think we should be going there looking like, no, it's our time. It's our time. Hand up the points, man. Just free up the points. Let's get out of it without anyone getting hurt. That should be the vibe. So I'm not as worried about Sunday as I think a lot of people are. And I get why people are because Saka's out, but there's no excuses. You start off, there's no excuses now. There's no that this is your team. This is a good team. Go there and get the job done.
Well, listen, the last time we won there was 2012 with Podolski and Cazorla, which is crazy. And the kit that we wore then is similar to our away kit now. So hopefully there's a nice little omen there. However, unless we play in our white kit, of course, but I think we'll play in the blue one. However, what I will say is I actually do predict a draw again. I think this one could be a cancel each other out jobby. I think it could be a 1-1 again. I can't believe it's that long since we've not won at Anfield. And Liverpool, don't get me wrong, they've been good, but they haven't been good since 2012 good. Do you know what I mean? Like they've been good for the last 5 years. But they battered us, man. Like I've stopped going up to Anfield seeing 4s and 5s being put past us.
Horrible.
Well, the last couple has been better, because obviously we drew, but we still haven't won up there, man. So for me, it's a difficult place to go. It's probably the hardest ground to go to, if I'm honest. It's probably the hardest place to go in the Premier League. I'm actually quite glad we're getting it over and done with. I'm quite glad that, Old Trafford's out the way. St James Park come in. In the first 6 games, 4 very, very difficult games out the way. Whether we win, lose, or draw is obviously another debate. But for me, you're getting them out the way. I don't actually mind that. Everybody's got to play each other twice. It's like, oh, this is out of order. This is a fix. It's ridiculous. Everyone's got to play them. It's just, they have a different order to play them. Do you know what I mean? And and then after these 6, it actually plateaus out a bit. Like, I know there's another period around, is it November or February, where it looks like, we've got a couple of tricky ones again. But I mean, like, we have got to play everybody, man. Like, let's just get on with it. Like when we went unbeaten, you wanted to see our run. It was horrible, our run, when we went unbeaten. Absolutely horrendous. We won the league. So, you've got to play everyone.
And I'm really interested to see the battle between Gyökeres and Van Dijk. I'm really, really keen to see how who wins that battle. I think if we can get the better of him, I think we could have some joy. We saw what Bournemouth did to their attack did to Konate. He was a mess in that opening game. So I think if we can get our stuff together, I think we can cause some damage there, man. That's not me. That's not Arsenal bias or me being deluded. I genuinely think we've got the squad and the team to go there and get at least a draw. A draw is not. If you offer me a draw right now, I'll take it. But I genuinely think we can go there and win. We can lose. Liverpool are good and they're at home. Do you know what I mean?
And this is what I mean. Like Liverpool are quality side. Literally anything can happen. But I'm not going there thinking, oh my God, Anfield. I'm not like that either. So I think that's got to be a good thing. But let me just touch on a couple of individual performances from Leeds, and ask you. I wanted to talk on Gyökeres because I actually thought he was pretty good. And I know that you were questionable about the signing and what have you, but to start with, I just thought I'm not going to lose my head because he clearly isn't fit. and we're not playing to his strengths at all. I felt that although we didn't really play to his strengths by 100% at the weekend, I did feel like he was a hell of a lot better and we was kind of utilising him a lot more. He looked sharper and fitter, that's no doubt. The goal, particularly the first goal he scored, was really good. It was one of my favourite goals of the game. The fact that he actually showed himself wide and then cut inside, it shows his ball carrying stats. If you look at his stats, I'm not a stats guy, Jordan, at all, right? But he has brilliant ball carrying stats, which is just something Kai Havertz does not have. So I always knew he was going to be a huge upgrade, not just because he's a better finisher than Kai or that he scored more goals than Kai in the last 2 years, but also because his ball carrying stats is really good and his penalty he just buried. I like this player and think he's going to get a lot of goals for Arsenal. How did you see his performance, bro?
I thought it was good. I thought it was really good. I thought the goal he scored was very, very good. I mean, I got clowned on the weekend from some friends of mine because just last week I was talking about the fact that I don't want him running the channels too much. I think we need a guy that can occupy defenders, find those pockets of space to kind of get those slide rule passes in, turn, bang. We've not had that striker for a while. In those tight games, I don't think Havertz has been the guy. Aubameyang, we had wide. Lacazette, I loved him, but he wasn't good enough. We're talking Van Persie, the last striker we had that could, in those tight spaces, half chance, bang, goal. That's what I think we missed against Fulham in the draw, both draws last year. That's what we missed in the Everton game at home last year. That's what in the way those tight games where you need a striker to create half a yard of space in and around the box, we didn't have that. And seeing him go wide, I've seen Havertz play wide. I've seen Aubameyang go wide. How about you get in the box and create some chances and some space for us to score some of those goals? And then he goes and scores a goal, pulling wide, cutting inside, and then banging it to score his first goal. So he mugged me off a little bit with that goal there, to be fair. It was a great goal. It was a really good goal. But I thought he played very, very well. Well-taken penalty, occupied his defenders, works really, really hard. You know, me and James were disagreeing on Forever Arsenal in the last episode about he doesn't look nice to watch. The way he runs, because he's so big and clunky and wide, it's like Lukaku. He doesn't look good when he runs, but he's effective. And I think that if he can get up to full fitness, even sharper, I think he can cause some defenders a lot of problems this season. So you watch Forever Arsenal. He wasn't my pick. I've got reservations about him still, but he's my striker, so I'm going to back him. And when he plays well, I'll praise him. I've got no agenda against him. I want him to score 50 goals because if he scored 50, my team wins the Premier League. I'm happy. I've just been honest about my concerns. I have reservations about him, but in that game, he was brilliant. And when he's very, very good, I'll be fair. And I don't need to lie. I have an agenda about him. He was very, very good. I was very impressed. Let's see it again. I want to see against the best defender in the league, the best team in the league. Let's see what he can do away in that sort of environment. Because you're not in Portugal now, with all due respect. This is why Arsenal have brought you in. It's to make the difference in these games. So let's see what he can do.
I think we need to be realistic with Gyökeres as well, because the people that are made mad saying, I think 30 to 35 goals. I'm like, Thierry Henry got 30 once for Arsenal. I think the others were like 26, 22.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was Thierry Henry, which Gyökeres is never going to be, right? So I don't understand why we believe that he needs to get like Haaland numbers. That is not the case. Haaland's a freak, right? He's an absolute freak of a striker. Like you mentioned earlier in managers, Haaland's one of those with a striker, right? So when I look at goals, that's what Haaland is. I don't think there's anybody in the world that's doing what Haaland's doing right now in terms of numbers, because I think Haaland is actually in the Champions League goals at the age of 24. I think he's like in the top 30 or 40 already. It's just scary, right? So what he's doing, granted, most of those have come for Salzburg and Dortmund, but when you look at what he's doing at Man City, it's mad. I don't think I need to look at other strikers. I need to look at him. I just need to care about Gyökeres. I don't care that Sesko's not doing well at United, or if Wally Watkins is scoring for Villa, or if Isak goes up to Liverpool and scores. I want to know what Gyökeres is doing, and I believe that we have taken less of the risk out of the two. I don't want Sesko, bro. I didn't want him. I wanted Gyökeres over Sesko, because Gyökeres, if you're going to take that risk, go for the guy that's got 100 goals in 2 years, not the guy who's got 13 in Bundesliga. Yeah. So that's where I was at. I was impressed with his individual performance, and I thought it was very impressive. I loved the celebration, the hair flick thing, because everyone said he had more touches of his hair than the ball in the Old Trafford game. That was class for me. I love that. It's like a little bit of shithousery and shithousing on the media. I love that. And I wanted to talk about his performance, but I also wanted to talk in general about where you have seen the last couple of games and who you wanted to kind of mention. I wanted to touch on during Timber, who just keeps amazing me. I thought his performance was brilliant. He was my man of the match. I mean, 2 goals, an assist, and a clean sheet. You can't really do better than that, in my opinion. You know, I think we have to mention the 2 young kids, Ethan Nwaneri and Max Dowman. I look at the 2 of them and I thought we were better when Odegaard was off. I thought Ethan Nwaneri would definitely gives us something that Odegaard doesn't in terms of the intent to drive forward and move the ball quicker and look a little bit more like he's got intent to actually drive on the ball and take a shot. And Max Dowman just blows me away every time I see him, bro. I keep forgetting he's 15 years old. So they were the other 3 I wanted to mention, really: Timber, Ethan, and Max.
They've been brilliant. I think Timber. I think about it a bit more now, but top of my head, I think Timber's got a shout for being the best one-on-one defender in the league. I think one-on-one, I never see him get beat. I hardly ever see him get beat. I just think he's brilliant. I hope that the injury that he had a couple of years ago that has gone, and I think that I hope that he's settled and he's back to full fitness. Because if he is, we've got an absolute beast. I love him too.
I remember being really upset, not just when he got injured, because I was excited when we signed Timber. I was excited when we signed Timber as like Rice. I remember we signed Rice and I thought, oh, that's brilliant. But this Timber kid is wicked. I was gutted.
Dan, you're right. That summer, I was more excited about Timber than the Rice signing. I was gassed we got Rice, but I was saying to people, this Timber kid, we've got a don't sleep on this guy. This guy's a problem. So brilliant. Nwaneri, brilliant talent. I'm not all in on Nwaneri just yet. Just yet. I thought he played well on the weekend without being amazing. I thought his performances were slightly inflated. And I don't know if that's youth tax that we've put on him because he's a teenager. We kind of inflate what he does. But I like him. And as I mentioned, I'd start him. If Odegaard is out on the weekend, I would start him. It's a bit of a wild card. The Dowman one's interesting because I'm in the minority here, right? That's fine. I own my truth. I'm not comfortable with a child playing men's football, right?
The way you said that. Go on.
I'm just not. I'm not comfortable with a child playing first team Premier League football. Now, people always say, yeah, but if he's good enough, he's old enough. It's not about ability for me. He's clearly good enough to play men's football. Like, that's not a question. It's more about he's a child. People, all my friends are like laughing at me, and I think as Arsenal fans, because he's good, we kind of bypass his age. Like because he's so good, we just kind of like we forget the fact that he's 15 years old. I'm not comfortable with that, but that's just me. If it was my child. And again, friends of mine of the weekend, if someone offered your child a £10 million contract to play, trust me, you'd play them. No, I wouldn't. Because the psychological impact of things going wrong for life are not worth it for my child. So that's just my view, first of all.
So you wouldn't see Dowman at all this year? You just say keep him in the reserves?
I would say keep him in the under-21s. And when he's 18, Arsenal, he's all yours. But until then, I wouldn't. No, as a parent, I'm not. I wouldn't be doing it if it was my child. But anyway, the family are fine with it. Arsenal are fine with it. It's being done. So
let me just ask you on that just quickly, Jordan. Sorry, let me just ask you one more on that because I know you're in a rush as well, mate. But
no.
With the Dowman thing, I'm the other way. I think if you're good enough, you're old enough. Because what I have seen in pre-season and in the last couple of games when he has played in the Premier League, or obviously he only played the weekend, it lifted me out of my seat and it got me excited. And I think Arsenal have needed players like that for some time. I don't think we've had in the attack anybody like that under Mikel Arteta that I look at other than Bukayo Saka that I go, wow, he's the one, give him the ball. And the confidence that the men's team have with him passing the ball to him. You know, when you sometimes will protect that player at all costs, don't really put him in that position. They just give him the ball and he's fearless. He's won 3 penalties in the last 5 games, Jordan, right? That means he's like a Jack Grealish. He always gets fouled. He's always willing to go, not go down and dive, but certainly he'll go down and win the penalties and win the fouls. He's also got unbelievable ability at 15. And I think, although I don't say burn him out and, by 25, hopefully, we would have got something out of him. I think kind of the opposite. If you are ready, you have to manage it correctly, but don't waste. My kind of question to you is, what do you think could go wrong? Do you look at long-term injury or burnout?
I'll tell you. So again, but your response there is regarding his ability. I'm not doubting his ability. I'm not here saying at 15 years old, his ability. Yeah, and people in the chat are giving me other players that have played Lamau, Messi at a young age. I'm not. People need to listen properly and understand. Like, listen, and you might learn something. I'm not saying there aren't kids and teenagers that haven't broke through and had brilliant careers. I'm not saying that. I'm not even saying Dalman won't have a brilliant career. I'm also not saying that on ability, he's not good enough to be in the squad, because he clearly is, right? I'm saying there's got to be a level of protection for him, that if I'm his parent, I have to protect this child. He's still a child. We talk about him as a Arsenal player. He's 15. And I think he's just turned 15 as well recently, right? Yeah. So what I'm saying is when he has a bad game, right, he'll be on social media, 2 bad games, and he gets people abusing him, telling him that he's the most overrated teenager of all time. How does that affect him? If he's clearly got some there's someone in his family that's clearly of Afro-Caribbean heritage, right? What happens when he has a bad game and he gets 1,000 emojis sent to him on Twitter? How does that affect him? How does that really impact him psychologically long term? So if you're asking me if I want to risk my child at a teenage age because he's good enough, but forego the psychological impact that can happen to him for the rest of his life, it's not worth it for me. And people are saying, oh yeah, but Arsenal have professionals. They wouldn't let him play if he wasn't ready. I'm sorry. No one cares about my child more than me, right? Arsenal might have experts. I care about my child. That's what I'm saying. So people can disagree, and they will disagree, and I understand why. But I'm saying, take off your football hat for a second. Yeah, for a second. It's a child. I'm uncomfortable with it. So you can call me woke, as they are. You can call me weak. You can call me all these things. It's fine. That's no problem. I'm just saying, if he wasn't an Arsenal player, many of these people that are in the chat wouldn't be agreeing with playing him, because he's our player and he's exciting. Throw him in, yay, throw him in. But not thinking about the long-term impact of this potentially going wrong. We all know stories of people that have been signed at a young age and dropped for whatever reason, and they're never the same player or the person. It messes them up. We know this. There's thousands of those stories. There's not many Lamals around. There's not many Messis. There's not many stories of teenagers that break through and have great careers. Those stories are few and far between. Yeah, but there's thousands of kids who break through too young, and it messes their head up for life. So I'm just saying I'm uncomfortable with it, but I'm also acknowledging he's in the squad. So my opinion doesn't really matter, does it, Dan? My opinion is just my opinion. I'm just offering it as a caveat to he played very, very well. He's a phenomenal talent, but I'm just being honest by saying, but I'm not comfortable with a child. He's a child playing Premier League men's football. And if it was my child, it's not happening. That's all.
Okay. So you rate the talent, phenomenal talent, not sure about the mentality situation because of his age. What about Rooney at 16? Was you the same? Rooney at 16, was you the same?
No, it's the same. I don't care how good you are. Play him in the under 21s. And at 18, he's all yours. When he's 18, he's all yours. All yours.
Were you the same with Miles, Lewis-Skelly and Ethan last season?
Yeah, yes. I was on TalkSport 3 years ago. I think it was Jason Cundy was saying he thought Mikel Arteta was playing Ethan Ranieri for his own PR purposes.
Oh, I remember that.
I didn't agree with that, but I did agree with the fact that I didn't like it. I didn't agree with the 50. He's 15. My man's got GCSEs in a few weeks. What are we doing here? These are children.
It's an interesting debate.
I'll be the minority of one, Dan. I don't care. I don't care. I don't business.
That's standard for you, bro. That's standard for you.
Yeah, but I'm not saying it to be provocative or controversial. I'm just saying we get.
You say how you feel. And look, I think it's an interesting debate. I'm with Jonathan in the chat. I think it's a very interesting debate. I don't think either of us are saying this player's not good. I don't think either of us are saying this guy's not got a phenomenal talent. I think where we differ is, I think if you're good enough, you're old enough, you think protect him at all costs mentally. And you know what? I respect that. And, look, I don't have children. And I, maybe fathers see this as a different thing than I do. I'm looking at it from a pure football perspective. I think he's going to be an unbelievable talent. I mean, I've not seen anything like that at 14. I seen him at 13. He was unbelievable.
I have no doubt. And people, when he scores a brilliant goal in the North London derby, and I'm waxing lyrical about him, people will be like, "Oh, you see, when he scores goals for Arsenal, you're happy now." Listen, I'm not his dad. So if his family are okay playing for Arsenal at that age, then fine. If they're fine with it, then whatever. He's an Arsenal player. I will cheer him when he scores goals. He's a phenomenal talent. I'm just saying I'm uncomfortable with it. Doesn't mean I won't support him or cheer for him or rate him. I'm just saying. Anyway, you get it.
No, I do. I get it. And I think some people in the chat won't, but that's the way it is, man. And that's what I love about the show. That's what I love about the show, man. We get a difference of opinions. Let's do a couple of these super chats before we come to a close. Witness, I don't ever want to hear or see or speak about this moment ever again. But yes, Arteta is a freak in that respect. Correct. Guna Carlos says, issue is if you wait, the best youth will leave us. What do you make to this statement?
I think there are more important things in football. So I think if you have a youngster that says, "Play me now," or "I'm going to go to Chelsea," or "I'm going to go to another team," I mean, this is a bigger discussion, Dan. This is capitalism, right? This is about let's rinse these kids because they're talented. They're going to make us money. I'm just saying there's a duty of care. And if you're a responsible club or a parent, I just don't think playing a 15-year-old is particularly, just because he's really good, is particularly the right thing to do. But someone put a counterpoint to me the other day when I made this point that you got to respect talent, right? You got to respect talent. Talent is good enough to be in the squad, then fine. But look at the scrutiny he's going to be under. Think about his social. I follow him on social media. His account has gone up by 80% in the last month. His numbers, the scrutiny when he messes up. Yeah, he'll have coaches around him supporting him, but he's a child. He's a child, man.
Look, I hear it. He's a child, and that is probably going to be one clip that I do use because this has been a good debate, man. So prepare for the abuse you get, Jordan. But yeah, you know, it is what it is. But look, man, as we come to a close, the transfer window is still open. We mentioned earlier there's links with the Bayer Leverkusen centre-back in Cape. Obviously, Kivior looks like he could be going as well, potentially before the window shuts. I imagine there'll be some more outgoings. I just wanted to get your opinions on outgoings first. And then lastly, if you believe there's anything that we could do last minute in terms of a left winger. Rumours of Rodrigo, rumours of Semenyo, rumours of Lookman, all of these guys we've been linked with. Forgotten Rafael Leao. I've seen all these loose links for a long, long time. So I suppose my kind of closing question is, who's leaving Arsenal? And do you think there's one left winger that could be coming in, or are we done?
Incomings, I think we're done. I don't foresee where we'd strengthen. Unless you're going to get an out-and-out winger, left winger, then maybe. But I just don't think we're going to do that. Outgoings, Zinchenko, Nelson. Has Lokonga gone yet?
Not yet.
The Lokonga, and there was one more.
Fabio
Vieira. I think we can get those 4 off the books. I mean, those 4, if there's transfers, that should bring in 80 mil, 90 mil.
Yeah.
And I know Zinchenko's on a not top tier wage, but he's on a he's on a decent wage. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get that off the books. So I think if we can get those 4 off the books, I think that will be a really good transfer window, because a transfer window, you don't just judge it on who you bring in, you have to judge it on also who goes out. So if we can get those 4 off the books, and I think all 4 will go. I think those 4 will go. I think that will be a very good window.
Yeah, I do. If we get player sales right, I think we've had a very good window. If we was to bring in a madness at the end, Berta, I'll be bowing down to him, mate. If we was to go and do a madness with a Rodrigo or something at the end, I don't think anyone could complain that this window has not been top tier. So, yeah, man, that's where I'm at. But listen, bro, it's been an absolute pleasure getting you on again,
man. All mine, man.
Legend, man. And what you got coming up? How can people follow you? What you got coming up, bro?
I've got a couple of things coming up that I'm cooking. Nothing I can reveal right now. Okay. But if you follow my socials, I'm on Instagram. It's my name, Jordan Jarrett Bryan. You'll be kept up to date. I have a couple of podcasts. I have one called The World's Coolest Disabled, where I speak to people with disabilities that are doing amazing things. Go check it out on Instagram and on YouTube, also TikTok. So it's Coolest Disabled. Another podcast, Whisper It Loudly, that I do with Darren Lewis, Hugh Wozencroft, and Troy Townsend.
Brilliant.
We're back in a couple of weeks, actually. We're back in a couple of weeks for the new season. We discuss football and sport, but also politics, culture, and a bit of foolishness. have a laugh, and obviously Forever Arsenal. If you're not following us on AFTV, my podcast that I do with Turkish, the Great Turkish, the Judge, and Badman James. We do a pod twice a week. We have a lot of fun. If you want to hear more insightful, interesting takes, like you've heard for the past hour from my good self, there's even more of that on there, just not from me.
Nah, man, real talk. There's brilliant podcasts I listen to. And it's weird. I said this the other day to a friend of mine. I said, when you're in this world, the last thing I normally do is sit and listen to everybody else's content because I just don't have time. I do so much of my own.
Yeah.
But the one I do listen to religiously, well, the two I listen to religiously, it sounds like I'm in love with Turkish, but I promise you I'm not as much as he is my bro, are the Big Six and Forever Arsenal. They're the two that I watch religiously because I think they're class. And obviously I'm a big fan, big friend of Lee Judges and, of course, Turkish. And yourself and James. So I listen to you religiously. That's the one that I do listen to, Forever Arsenal. I think it's a brilliant podcast. And big up to FTV and the guys over there, man. Big up to Jordan. Make sure you're following Jordan on all socials. And we're going to send you over to Saeed. Do not miss this show. I'm going to be on there. It's midday live. We're there every Monday. And I must say, there's going to be a cooking. I won't spoil too much, but stay where you are because it's going to be absolutely lit. You're a legend, Jordan. I'll speak to you next time, bro. We're out of here.
Bro.